Well, hey, folks, it's your old pal, Mrs. Queen Waspinator. Welcome back to Total Party Skills. Yay!
So about 18 hours after it came out, we finally did get around to watching Season 3, Episode 3 of Picard. It was the overall quality is continuing, and there wasn't anything about it that was terribly bad. I find some of the stuff going on with the portal weaponry a little frustrating to watch, and there might be some redundant character stuff that could have just been allowed to flow quicker and skip a bunch of unnecessary steps. I personally find the most interesting thing I'm just kind of getting out of all the stuff happening so far in this season is how refreshing it almost is to see an established old character find out that they have a long-lost offspring, and they've actually allowed Picard to have a son, whereas it feels like lately every time it's James Bond or pretty much anybody, guess who has a daughter? And it's sad that, it's like that, because it hasn't really been going on that long, and yet they've overused that trope so much in such a short amount of time. It seems like some terribly innovative thing that Picard's kid gets to have a penis and likes vagina.
Hey, we're only assuming he likes vagina.
So, do tell, what are your thoughts on this fantastic episode of Star Trek Picard?
It is nice to be reminded that people also have male offspring, because I almost forgot that that's where men come from. Huh. I overall liked it. It was clipping along at a good pace. It had some good, funny dialogue. Some of the personal melodrama I could have done without. It was super contrived. The ending annoyed me because I felt that personal drama was really fabricated pretty hard. Oh, Picard, you gave me bad advice when neither of us knew what to do in the middle of dire circumstances.
I mean, arguably, yeah, if Riker had just went ahead and taken Picard's advice much earlier on, they wouldn't have been that situation. So him blaming Picard like that and kicking him off the bridge, I guess it's, leaves you at a cliffhanger. Oh no, are our two friends divided now? Well, we won't know until next week what's going on. At the risk of getting too far into spoilers, it was an interesting choice for them to bring changelings back in, as apparently the threat that's been hounding the Crushers so far has, some breakaway terrorist cell of the Dominion that also has something to do with the Raffi and Worf plot line. So obviously these two will dovetail at some point. Maybe we'll finally get to see Raffi and Seven of Nine get back together for their wonderful lesbian relationship. Isn't it weird that there was a time when we were younger where the idea of them having Seven of Nine and a lesbian relationship would have been considered the hottest thing ever done on television ever? But now also, much like how it's strange that it seems unusual that Picard has a son, it seems kind of like tame and boring that they've made Seven a lesbian. It's like, oh really? That's all you could think of, huh? That's all the character development that you had in your little notebook there at Paramount Plus. Is like, what if she likes to eat pussy? I do find it kind of weird how Riker almost immediately started acting like a giant dickbag as soon as he was given the captainship of the Titan again. Was Shaw actually being an asshole, or is something about this ship possesses its captain to make them start acting like a giant weenus?
Yeah, maybe the ship itself is a conscious entity, and it manipulates people through the captain's chair to protect itself, of course. It was refreshing to relax enough in the quality of the show to be able to start nitpicking other little things like, lighting or set decoration, or that shot was a little off and I wish it had been a little bit more over here. The kinds of stuff we used to complain about when the content was great and you couldn't pick it apart from the script or the characters or the casting. And you had to actually go into the tiny shot by shot. I wish that would have been a little better. That was kind of cool.
Speaking of nitpicks, though, yes, they did try to explain it kind of in this episode, but I find their explanation for why Jack Crusher has an English accent like his dad to be about as lacking as their explanation as to why Jean-Luc Picard has an English accent in the first place. Yeah, okay, he went to school in London. For like how long? Are we talking like from kindergarten all the way up through college? How long was he in London being schooled? Like, they don't have schools in France? They don't have a college in Paris he could have gone to?
That wasn't Picard's excuse. Picard's excuse is that French had been phased out by that whatever year that was, when he was born and growing up in France. They just all spoke English with an English accent. His son Jack went to school in London. I think she said university, but I could be wrong. Long enough to pick up an English accent, although it would sort of insinuate that he's faking it to some degree. And he can probably pull off several other accents, and one does wonder why, since he doesn't have anything to do with his dad. But, at least they tried.
Yeah, so like I said, the excuse for why he has an English accent is about as lame as the excuse they have for why Picard. The French phased out French over the course of the next 300 years. What a weirdly Francophobic thing for Star Trek to have done. Well, anyway, though, it's just episode 3 of season 3. Many revelations to come. We've found out Picard got laid once. We've found out that the changelings are still around, and we had an awkward reference from Worf about his good friend that they can't show because Renee Auberjonois is dead, so they can't have Odo come back. I did find it weird how Crusher mentioned that she lost her son Wesley. Does she just mean figuratively because he went off to go, hang out with the Traveler and do Native American stuff in space? Or did he die at some point? Maybe there's some sort of fourth wall thing where his character has transcended the physical universe and has entered the Wil Wheaton ready room so that he can interview the actors playing the characters from his own continuity. And so the Wil Wheaton in Wil Wheaton's Ready Room show is actually Wesley Crusher, who's, phased himself into our reality from the television show. No?
Sadly, no. That is not what happened.
Oh, I guess until next time.
Stay waspinated.